constitutional bit, though, is the reason why we have a governor in our Australian Constitution. And I'm sure you all know that a bill that's been through the Parliament or an important appointment can't be made law until it's had royal assent. The governor appoints and dismisses ministers on the advice of the Premier. The governor is required to take the advice of his ministers as long as they do represent that majority democratically elected government. If the situation should ever arise in the future when a political party can't form a government or is still in office when it's lost its majority, then the governor of the day has to use what's called his reserve power, or may have to. In other words, he may have to use his reserve power to find someone else to form a government. Note, please, the governor is not responsible to the Governor-General. There's no chain of command from a state governor to the Governor-General. There's no link of any sort from the governor to the British government or to any member of the British government. He has a link to the Queen of Australia, who he represents, but not to the British government.
Can I ask Lady Martin?
Please, yes.
What's it like for you to be the wife of the governor?
Well, today, for instance, I find that pretty fascinating. I've thoroughly enjoyed meeting you all. It's a very small aspect of a very busy week, I know. It's good fun. It's hard work, but I enjoy it. Thank you for the question.
Your Excellency, how do people get invited to Government House?
Well, that's a question we're looking at very carefully at the moment. Lots of people are entitled to come here. Lots of people have never had the chance to come here, and we're investigating very carefully how to identify those groups who need to come in and see the place and see how it works. Having said that, lots of the worthy charities come here regularly.
In fact, for one reason or another, several thousand guests are received or invited to Government House each year. After meeting the Governor and Lady Martin, guests are served with light refreshments. The Governor usually gives a speech to explain the functions of Government House.
Here you are in our happy house. Susie and I have been here now since January. This is very much a working house.
After the Governor's speech, guests are normally given a tour of the function rooms downstairs by the ADC and Lady Martin's personal secretary. Visitors to a formal dinner are met by the ADC and invited to sign the visitor's book. The private secretary then announces them. Pre-dinner drinks are served. They then move into the dining room. When everyone is seated...
Ladies and gentlemen, Grace, for what we're about to receive, thank God. Amen. Amen.
Other visits are less formal, though occasionally some guests are a little overcome when introduced to the Governor and Lady Martin. On fine days, the gardens provide a beautiful background and add to the informal mood. The Governor gives a brief speech of welcome.
Well, we're very happy to see you all today. This is my wife, Lady Martin, standing there in the corner. What we love to do, and we've done several times now since we moved into Government House, is to go out and meet a group of people we didn't know before and just start to get to know them and then say, who wants to come back to my place? And they can come back and see this great house where we operate. And I know by your standards, this is not a very old history, but for the standards of European settlement, it's pretty old.
Then everyone retires to the ballroom for question time.
We do it on behalf of the people of New South Wales.
And the questions can often bring some surprises.
Do your servants get in trouble when they do something wrong?
If any of us, including me, does anything wrong, then we get told how to do it better. But no one really gets into trouble because everyone tries hard around here.
How old are you?
That's a good question. How old are you? Well, I was, but now I'm 56, I think I was last time I looked. But quite seriously, when I left the Navy, my wife and I said, we're never going to move house again. I threw away most of my suitcases. I said, I want a job where there's no routine, where I can make my own routine. I want to be as private as I possibly can, and to wear a tie and a suit as seldom as I can. That didn't happen.